back to Touring Taste Buds, and today we're going to tell you all about what makes up a good camp spot.
So important.
Today we're going to tell you all about what makes up a good camp spot. So if you don't know or you haven't checked out our channel before, I'm Chad.
And I'm Steph.
And we've been traveling all across the West Coast.
Basically, we have stayed at probably 50 different campsites over the past 6 months. And we've seen the good, bad, the really bad, the really good, and everything in between. So we've definitely narrowed it down to kind of what we think is necessary to make up a really good campsite where you can just go, be comfortable, and just enjoy your surroundings. The number one thing is definitely to have good space around you. We've been to so many campsites where you're like literally just parked right next to the RV next to you, and that's no fun.
No
fun. You just have to sit inside the whole time.
This is probably one of the bigger spaces that we've actually stayed at. So this is in Nashville where we full-time live. Huge, it's spacious, and it's even better because we have pets. So for us, when we want to go outside and bring our pets, we don't have to worry about, Millie running after another dog next door or anything crazy like that. So it's really nice to be able to just have a ton of space.
So what's number two?
Has to be price. Everybody cares about how much it costs to live
sure.
and how much it costs to stay here and how much it costs a full-time RV and all that good stuff. So for us, one huge thing is price. We look at
Exploring.
We've stayed at spots that are over $100. We've stayed at spots that are $20. And for example, this one is only $25, and I think it probably is better than some of the ones that we've paid almost $70 for.
If you're gonna pay more, make sure you're getting what you're paying for. So this site has basically everything we need, and it's only $25. So another thing to really look at is look at the price and then see what you're getting for that price. Make sure what you get justifies that price. It doesn't mean that you have to get the cheapest option every time.
For example, we stayed in Napa. It was about $80, $90 a night, and it was probably one of the best spots we've ever stayed at, and we'd never complained about the price.
No.
But on the other hand, we stayed at a spot in Jackson Hole that was almost $120 a night, and it was terrible.
It was so bad.
It was probably the worst spot you've ever stayed at.
Yeah. So proof in the pudding. So if you're going to pay a premium, just make sure that you're getting your money's worth out of it, and just make sure it's actually worth that premium. If not, just stay a little bit outside of where you're wanting to see. It's so worth just driving a couple extra minutes into whatever you're looking at just to not have to pay an excessive amount of money for something that's not that impressive.
That leads us into the next topic, which has to be location. For us, it's not really that big of a deal if we stay outside of the city or inside the city. We just want to be in a nice location with a good surrounding area around everything that we want to do and kind of cover in the area that we're staying. Don't be afraid, like Steph said, stay 5, 10, 15, 20 miles outside of where you want to stay for price or because it's a nicer spot.
Yeah, I think this is a good time to kind of plug some of the apps we use. I'm sure you all are very familiar with things like Campendium, but it really is such a good resource. It gives you a good idea of kind of the distance between where you want to be and where you're going to be staying. It just kind of gives you a good idea of the map around where the location is. Yeah. And it's also good to just kind of compare sites in a general area too, to look at the price and to look at the location.
Yeah. You get a ton of feedback from other fellow RVers or other fellow van lifers or whatever it is. You get a feedback from them and kind of get their opinion. And also sometimes photos. So definitely Campendium. I also think a huge one that you used was Google Maps. Shows you everything, shows you all around the area, shows you exactly what you want to do, where you want to be.
I really like how on Google Maps you can also use like the Street View feature, which shows you the actual like surroundings and see it in real life basically. Another thing on Google is that there's more updated reviews. One thing I've noticed on Campendium is sometimes you're looking at reviews from like a year ago, which may not be relevant because a lot of campgrounds go through regular upgrades and stuff like that. So I think Google has more up-to-date reviews and stuff on the actual campsite.
Also, yes, we switched Ace out for Millie because Ace was somehow pissed at life, and so yeah, you get Millie.
So I'm going to kind of cover number 4 and 5 all in one, and this all kind of goes back to price as well. What you're going to get whenever you pay a certain price. And that means, are you going to have good, solid hookups, and are the amenities going to be good? So 4 is solid hookups, meaning is the electrical kind of like up to date? Can you actually turn the breaker on and off?
When we were in our huge flash flood of up to 4 feet of water, having that breaker box being able to turn off and then pull the actual electric out was a huge key, because honestly, I don't know what I would have done if I couldn't have turned the breaker off, because it's still active, still live, and there was a ton of water. Yeah, so make sure you have an on and off switch in your breaker box. Some don't, some do. You never really know until you get there.
Another thing to look at is there water? Obviously, that's a big one. And also, is there sewer? Some spots you have to pay more to have a sewer hookup. And sometimes it's worth it and sometimes it's not. So make sure it has everything you need to be sustainable in that spot. Our pets are just on another level. I can't even.
They're feeling themselves today, people. They're feeling themselves.
Another thing is, if you're hooking up old poor electrical connections to your RV, I've seen stuff where like people's stuff shorts out and stuff because of the circuit coming through their RV. So I think it's worth checking into that before you just commit to a spot.
Yeah. We normally drive around our campsite before we actually pick a spot. When we're in Nashville, obviously when you're traveling, you don't get to just pick and choose what to, you know, where you want to stay. But when you do have the opportunity, definitely take advantage of that and pick the right spot for you. We've had spots that have had terrible water connections that we actually just couldn't do water because it was just leaking 24/7. So 100% make sure that you know.
And then along with that, just make sure that they have good amenities. So if you're not going to be able to have sewer and you're going to have to use their bathrooms, it's something to look into. So I think, like I said, on Google, there's usually up-to-date reviews where you can see people's opinions on the bathrooms. Sometimes they're unreasonable, but sometimes they really are helpful. And then also stuff like, is there a front office or a dog park if you have a dog? Kind of checking into the full picture of the spot rather than just the spot itself, because once again, if you're paying to stay there, you want to make sure that you're getting everything you need out of that location.
So we stayed, for example, in Arizona. We stayed at this RV resort. It was beautiful. Had 5-star amenities, a pool, a basketball court, tennis court, workout room, you name it. It had everything. It was literally like a full-time living place, and it was phenomenal. We loved it. But also we've stayed at other spots that just had nothing, and we still loved it as well. So just make sure that you know, you kind of pick what you want and get the amenities that you wish to have.
It all goes back to your price. If you're going to pay a premium, you should probably get a few extra amenities than just a like campground toilet. And even if you find two spots that have the same price, look at their amenities, see what you're getting at one versus the other.
Also, little RV hack, if you do Campendium or Google Maps and it shows you reviews and pictures of everything, check out the bathrooms and restrooms and amenities, and if they're nice enough, don't get a spot that has sewage or water because you'll just save money. It's about $5 or $10 a night. Not a lot, but still it adds up over time. Another little trick if you want to use it. And then lastly, not really a huge point, but it's also just a little more comforting when you have a campground host in the area. A lot of places don't, and we totally understand that, and don't blame them for not having one.
Right.
But it also makes us feel so much more safe, so much more, you know, just welcomed in when we have a campground host that's just patrolling the area, kind of checking everything, cleaning up areas that are dirty.
And it might be something you don't find out until after you've already gone to the spot, but it's definitely a good resource too. A lot of them sell firewood, a lot of them do certain things that are really helpful, so just check in with them too. Normally they would check you in whenever you're actually checking into your spot too, so just kind of get to know them and familiarize yourself with what their responsibilities are, and then they can be helpful along the way too if you have any issues during your stay.
Why are these people just sitting here in front of our spot? Also, side note, we had like 3 people walk by our Airstream yesterday, and one person literally walked up to our window and was like looking in our window while we were in there, and it was really weird. We had like eye contact. And for anybody that does, for anybody that lives in an RV, have you ever had that happen? Because we've had it happen so many times. Don't get us wrong, we're extremely friendly people, but it's just so weird when you have somebody walk up to your window when you're just kind of watching TV. So we hope that this helps you guys out when you are looking for the right campsite for you to stay at when full-time RV living, or just on the road traveling, or doing whatever you want to do. So hopefully this helps. If it doesn't, sorry. But drop a comment below if you have a question. We'll be sure to answer it, and we'll see you guys next time on the next vlog.
But we will also show you around our campground to kind of show you a little bit of what we look for in a spot. So stay tuned for a little bit of tour, and like we said, like, subscribe, and ring the bell if you want. You never know. You might see something you like later on too. So thanks again for watching.
Let's show you the campground.
Alright guys, so this is the whole entire spot that we have. So from over about right here until literally right there is our whole entire spot. It's extremely spacious. Not to mention we don't have any neighbors over here until them. And not to mention that is a little close of a spot right here. But there's nobody there, and it's not that terribly close.
So one thing we'd really like to know is if there's a fire ring or not, because we actually love making campground fires. Obviously not campground fires, campfires, because that's the whole fun camping, right? So this one has really good campfire ring, and then also it has a picnic table, and then also a little grill too if you don't have your own grill. And like we said, there's even like stuff like extra thought into being able to hang your trash. A massive piece of pavement, so that way you have plenty of room for your RV.
Not to mention it's perfectly level too, which is always nice.
And so it's all really nice, so we can show you the hookups too, so you can see the quality. So like we said, this one has a breaker on it, and this one's actually available for 50 or 30 amps.
See guys, what we're talking about right here, breaker on and off switch, super key. And then it also has a nice brand new pretty much looking water spigot, so that is always super helpful when you're running water because you know it's pretty much going to run perfectly.
Alright guys, so that's basically the gist of what we look for when we're looking for the perfect campsite, and we hope that's super helpful. If you have any questions about RVing or finding a campsite or reviews or anything like that, just let us know. But now we're gonna go eat some chili. Don't forget to connect on social media. Our Instagram is TouringTastebuds and our Twitter is TouringTasteBud. So make sure you follow along because we do a lot more updates on there, daily photos, daily tweets. So make sure you follow along.